us.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am Sylvia Youth. This is my husband, Ed. We are members here at Holy Cross, and we're here today to talk to you about a mission trip we did to Guatemala. I was first went last year in 2024, and I was so excited and inspired. I made my now retired husband come with me. So we found out about this mission trip through somebody we know who attends First Presbyterian of Brighton, and First Presbyterian is the sending church for this mission in Guatemala, and so I'm hoping to get y'all a little bit excited. Maybe someone will want to come with us sometime. We're hoping to go again in the spring. And there are also other ways to support the mission besides actually going down there. And I really want to thank y'all for the donation of the shoes and socks, the new shoes and socks. I think we collected 4 dozen or 5 dozen pairs of shoes and even more socks. We took them down, and I don't have any photos because they're going to be given out at Christmas. So I hope I can get some from when they are distributed and bring them here and share with you. I wanted to go on a mission trip because I have talked to people who've gone. I've been curious about it, and they always came back glowing and talked about how spiritually fulfilling it is, and how it's an experience that brings you closer to God, and as you're doing good works in God's name. And they talk about the relationships you build, and so that's why I really wanted to go. And as I said, I knew someone from First Presbyterian, and because of the way they talked about this mission trip, when I was ready to go, I reached out to them, and they put me in touch with their mission team, and they had a spot available. So we went to the country of Guatemala, and I'll just quickly say that it is, oh, it takes a second to catch up. I apologize for that. But Guatemala is just the country south of Mexico. And it's a small country. 43% of the people identify as indigenous, mostly Mayan, and there are 22 Mayan languages spoken there. It's a volcanic country, and there are 3 volcanoes that surround the lake. We were near Lake Atitlan, and you can see 2 of the volcanoes from where we were staying, but those are not currently active. Others are. The House of Healing began as the vision of Terry, a nurse from Michigan who traveled to Guatemala about 30 years ago. She witnessed significant need, and she launched a medical mission in response. And so now the House of Healing has expanded beyond medical missions to offering educational scholarships. $240 will sponsor an elementary school child for 1 year, and $340 sponsors a high school student. Education is only kind of free through elementary school, but there's still costs associated that at times become prohibitive, and poor families cannot send their children. And then there's also this ability to build a house or some other structure. The missions to the House of Healing are as varied as the people who go. Our group had people between the ages of 12 and 81. We offered some Bible school programs. We prayed with villagers. We met some of the kids who have been sponsored for schooling. Other missions go down there solely for medical missions or to teach English. If you want to go, they'll help you find a way you can help there. Last year, when we went, in addition to doing a Bible school program, we were building a house for Juana, a 16-year-old young lady with, at the time, a 9-month-old baby. She had been abandoned by the father of the baby and disowned by her family. An aunt and uncle took her in, and she was living with them, but the aunt and uncle gave her a little plot of land immediately behind their house so that she could have her own space. And she was selected through the program. There was a vetting process. And when you build there, what you are constructing is 4 walls, a window, 2 window openings, a door opening. They get a dirt floor and a tin roof, and that's it. The rest they have to do. They have to finish themselves. They're just getting a very basic shelter. And so when the advantage of going back this year and the fact that we were working in the same village allowed me to see the progress that had been made. And it may not look like much, but you'll see that she now has a stove in there. She has a cement floor. They have installed wooden shutters. She has a door, and she's raising chickens and turkeys as a source of income. So we could really see, good work there that our support has given her an opportunity to excel. These are just some pictures from the village. We met these ladies last year and we met them again this year. Lovely people, and we were able to pray with them because the grandpa is very ill and near the end of life, and so they invited us in to pray with them. And now Ed's going to talk about what we did this year.
We'll talk a little bit about this year's construction project. It's about to pop up. All right, the first metal structure you see is the building that our construction is going to replace. So that was this family's current kitchen, which was really 4 corrugated steel walls with a doorway. There was no door, it was just an open doorway, and they would build a fire in there and cook. So you can see on the other side, the building we are assembling with our group, which, just to get a perspective on size, a little bit bigger than we would think of a shed here, smaller than a 1-car garage. So it's not very big. It was replacing a kitchen for them. So this is the back side of what that house was, or kitchen. Now the 2 boys you see one with the bucket, they're family members of the family that's going to receive the new kitchen. They're required to help with the construction. So they mixed mortar for us the entire week we were there and carried the buckets to us. Now the other picture were the 2 smaller children. They were learning how to bend hooks for rebar type material, the reinforcement between layers of bricks and the walls. I mean, here in the US, that all comes pre-assembled. There you get the strands of wire and you make it yourself. So it all had to be wired together on site.
And those are the children of the woman receiving.
Those were her youngest children. Now this is the finished, I'm about to see the finished building. Now the man in the picture, he was really our on-site foreman who coordinated all the construction, and his group put the roof on, and we weren't allowed to do the roof because, of course, there's no real scaffolding. So when we're building these walls, we were on makeshift scaffolding of buckets and bricks and a board, and you balanced yourself. But that's the family that the mother and the 2 younger children who are about to receive the finished building. As you can see, it's a doorway there's 1 window opening. And then underneath is the inside, which part of it's a dirt floor. Part of the ceremony when we turned it over, they spread pine needles on the floor. And the rest on the table are kind of the homecoming gifts that we provided the person there for her family, which we found out through the main contractor, their needs were really food staples. So we went shopping for food staples, soap, it wasn't what you'd think of it. Oh, my kids need a shirt or they want some toys. No, we need some food. So that's what we provided. And then this is part of, this was their after school like it was it was not, it was a Bible group that they did after their normal school hours. And this is their actual school. That was their playground. It was on a hill, and that's where they would play soccer, actually.
Yeah, and like I said, we had two teachers with us who provided the Bible school program that we offered 3 afternoons with the kids, and there was always a story and a craft and a Bible story. Also, actually last year we did Rainbow Fish, right? Story of friendship. So here's the next slide is a few pictures. I thought I hit it, but anyway, of the area. And just a couple final observations. I don't know where we are on time, and I really apologize. I know we're running over the amount of sermon time, but what I forgot to mention is after you build a house, it's dedicated and turned over to the person, and there's a ceremony and a lunch and prayers, and last year, during that, the uncle of the young woman who received it just spoke about his appreciation and also about how he tried to get help from his own community. He tried to borrow some money to build for her, and he was turned down. He's indigenous and he's poor. No one would help him. So then they applied through this program to the House of Healing and were able to make it happen. This year when we prayed, it was just, I don't know, you just really felt God's presence there as we prayed for the mom and her family, and then she prayed for us. And I don't know, it was just so special feeling just the love and the light shining on all of us. And oh, and Ed wanted to share a couple stories about people we learned about as far as what the health clinic has done.
Yeah,
And what they've helped.
yeah, as we were getting ready to go to the work site one morning, a younger person stopped by, and I didn't know who he was, but the group did. And then we found out that his family had brought him in, age 17, weighed less than 50 pounds. They had basically brought him there. You're going to be his hospice care. He's going to die. He was diabetic, didn't have access to insulin, didn't have the proper diet. So he was dropped off by his family. They were able to get him insulin, get a good diet for him, found someone that would provide a small refrigerator for his home for his insulin. And this is what he came back years later. Now he teaches nutrition. So.
And they've also arranged, when some people have had severe injuries and couldn't be treated locally, there is a hospital, but they're very limited as to what they can do. They've arranged for them to either go to the capital of Guatemala City or even come to the United States. But they've had to do that by, reaching out to their contacts to obtain the funds to do that. And a final thing is in the money that goes to them, almost, every penny goes to the work that they do. And the scholarships not only educate kids, but they provide lives that give back to their communities. Children who've received these scholarships have been able to go on to university. They've also needed financial support to do that, but they become teachers, nurses, doctors. So this is one of the reasons why I've just been so moved by the mission work they do there. They work with the community, they find out what the community needs, and they help raise up people to do the work, and they also preach the word of God when they can. So thank you.